So I wanted to start out with the Kabbalah. I was kind of on a tangent there about the hippie kids that were out at Garth's property in Southern California. It's a property with a bunch of teepees and a great sanctuary for when society kind of is too much for you to handle. And I had seen the sign out there that said, watch out for Brother Snake. And it was like this warning, like, how dare you run over Brother Snake and respect him too. It was like, watch out. And it's cute and it's interesting too, because in there's always kind of this hidden part of us that's projecting something, and it's our own, like in this case, our own like love of that growth, that serpent, which is the snake. And that can be accessed through a lot of, drug use. I mean, in this case, those hippie kids were doing a lot of psychedelics and stuff. And so they started to be able to tap into that energy of what that, life was beyond just what we see when we go driving down the road in a huff. So I wanted to show you on the Kabbalah what the serpent journey is. Because it's such a strong analogy that, like in Ayahuasca, the vine of the dead. So why do they call it that? And why does it look like a snake going up a tree? And the symbol of the snake has always been one of caution in our society. And most people will jump at the sight of a snake. And it's almost like the sight of our own need for growth, or our own need for change, like our own confrontation of the dark, of something that's unknown to us, or that we're unsure of, because it's kind of slippery and sneaky, and it gets us by surprise. Well, on the Kabbalah, so I'm just going to move on and show you real quick. So down here, when you're born, so I'm showing you, I've got two different examples here. So the first one is kind of this looks like more or less the grade school example, or the, Kabbalah 101. So at the top, you have the crown of God, and that actually means like this highest form that you can be present in. And then you drop down and you have the pillar of mercy, which is considered the feminine pillar, or the fall of Eve, and the fall of Adam over here, which is the pillar of severity. And that would be a Jewish term for the Jewish Kabbalah. And we're looking at it esoterically. In the center, you have the balance between the sort of good and evil, you could say. And this balance is really important to try to get to, because when you're balanced, you're not really having wars. When you're over here, you're creating too much with the rational mind, and too much discontent here in Mars. This is the more rational mind down here. Great for book learning, and you're putting things into that position. From the center point, you're looking at where you end up in the physical. So at the very, very bottom, and I'm going to go to this other chart because it makes more sense for me. And here you can kind of look at that. So each one of these has several layers within it. But just to give you a general idea, I study this really intensely, and so I get excited about it and want to tell you all the details. But what I really only want to tell you is that the Tree of Life is what this represents. And Ayahuasca takes you on a journey of the Tree of Life. And each one of these positions is a place, like it's a state of mind, and it reflects in your true world too. This would be kind of the book learning, we're encapsulating all of technology and all of the most analytical parts of the mind into something. And this is like the servants of society, but this is also the physical self, everything that's a manifest. And over here you have kind of the artist, and this side of like the less rational side that only operates here in this more merciful state. And we see people get thrown off when they get stuck over here, like the hippie kids. So they're kind of stuck over it. And the key here that I wanted to point out is that when you do ayahuasca, each time you're kind of going through these dark tunnels, which if you go through ayahuasca, you go through them pretty quickly. When you're going through them without ayahuasca, they could take years and years for one tunnel, and it's like a dark night of the soul. When you move through one, what you want to do is take what you had with you, and that's where the conflict is. So there's always this conflict of, I hate society, I just want to drop out and be an artist. And so if you can take that with you and you can move up the tree, it's like you're pulling everything up with you, like a straw sucking up, and like a serpent climbing around and touching each one. And that serpent seems scary until you actually deal with it and realize it's just a conflict that needs to be integrated and combined. So when you're doing ayahuasca, you're combining, you're accessing those conflicted areas, and that's going to help you move up. So let's say you have a big judgment on, too much play because you were raised that was kind of like something for stupid people to do, or something like it was sort of shamed in your family. Oh, too much laughter, and you were told to quiet at the dinner table or something like that. Well, that would be something where when you're confronted with that, you're confronted with the fact that you hang too tightly onto the opposite of that, which is too much seriousness and a lack of freedom and expression, and too much of that heady stuff. And so you're being confronted, and that's kind of what can make us sick, can make us purge and vomit. Like we're going through this transition where our body actually shows us what's conflicted, and it comes out of us as a purge, and it can look like heaps of body sensations. It can look like blips where your hand starts shaking and you have Parkinson's. It's actually leaving your body, and if it had hung on for longer, it would become Parkinson's. I'm not a medical doctor, but these are spirit ideas. These are things from the spirit world that impresses upon us for change. And if we can look at some of those and take the shortcut route, it's a lot faster and more wholesome than the longer routes of, say, therapy for years, and what happened when you were a child. Oh, your dad didn't let you play, made you be quiet at the table. We're going to talk and talk and talk about it till you're just so bored and so sick of it that you let it go, but you're still not playful at heart because your heart wasn't able to heal and just take on that expression. So how do we do that? We can take ayahuasca and move up this very quickly. So that's just a little bit of a little touch on the Kabbalah and the esoteric view of it, and how to think of that serpent touching up through our consciousness to give us integration on conflicted beliefs. So on the one hand, don't do this, on the other hand, do this, and it integrates and becomes possible again. Okay, so hope that was fun for you. Please subscribe to my channel. I need the subscribers so I can start making money on that. Thank you so much.